Oh, I'm just having a few microphone problems here, so I'm going to switch over and grab Damo's.
He is.
Well, I might have just not helped Jace out by flicking across to another set of jacks here. Hello to everyone, by the way, on a Saturday, Rob. I'm excited. That's what I am. I'm excited. Because I look around, I see Bernard Vince for the first time here in a very long time. Nice to see you, Bernard.
Yes, nice to be here, boys. Back into Victoria. Spent a few weeks over in Adelaide, obviously with the borders shut, but great to be here, roof open, looking forward to it. And this man's just...
Sorry.
I don't want to go there. Yes, okay.
Dry, Duck,
sorry.
nice to see you.
Yes, g'day JB. Good to be back, isn't it? Watching footy live.
Oh, yes.
Even though last night was a absolute stinker of a game, but good to be there.
We'll get to that, Damo. Of course, always a staple on the Saturday Rub. Nice to see you.
Hello, Jim. Really happy who you're about to introduce here. And I've also got to bring something to our listeners' attention, some behaviour involving one of our own that needs to be exposed.
Now,
I'll leave it at that.
How often do we have one of those?
Well, we're going to get to all of that shortly, but I don't reckon I've hit a Saturday Rub this excited for a very long time. Because there's a gentleman who's joining us today who was part of the Rub close to 20 years ago, put the thing on the map with his great mate, the Enforcer, and he's back! The Chief! I cannot tell you how excited I am.
Good afternoon, one and all. I had a feeling it might be a slight step down from Friday night. But after that start, I don't know what sort of amateur crap we're running with today, Jim. But it's not cutting it, mate.
Microphone didn't work for me, but don't worry about that, Chief.
Lift your game or Chief out.
Don't worry about that, Chief. You're here for the whole day, by the way. Don't think you're just here for the entree. The game, I want your thoughts on the game, Chief. I want to hear everything you've got to say about the lot.
We don't do footy, do we?
Oh, yeah. The whole
we
thing.
don't on Fridays.
Now, Chief, I'm not the only one that's excited about your return, because it's been too long. You shipped us off for greener pastures and then realised they weren't as green and came back to life.
I don't think that's quite the way it went.
I think that's how it went.
I don't think so.
And I'm excited, but not as excited as a man that rang me this morning.
Jim, it's Sam. I wonder if you could pass this along. It is with an air of excitement and keen anticipation that I learned of the return of the Chief to the Saturday Rub for, as they say in the entertainment industry, for one night only. Chief, if you're listening, you are a beautiful man, a magnificent mammal, actually, an immense, powerful, humorless, clinical, strident inhabitant of the planet, an impressive example of the group known as the primates of Uganda. I yearn for the day and look back with fond memory of our association when you used to towel me up and belt me from pillar to post verbally and physically. Chief, go with God. You're a marvellous, marvellous example of what this country needs. I love thee. What is a Saturday Rub, incidentally? Sorry, I missed someone.
He got wind of it, Chief, and he just needed to officially welcome you back.
I wonder how he got wind.
Yeah.
We do miss the force, don't we? The old Foss that we first started on. Then you became the Enforcer for you.
Yeah, the Enforcer.
It's always the Fossil for me.
I remember fondly on a Friday night, we used to give the Chief a nice clip before he came on air. So we had an hour on air before the Chief arrived, and if we got bored the last 10 minutes, we'd just load up on the Chief in his absence. So then he'd arrive on a Friday nice and pissed off before he'd actually even said anything. And at one stage he came in and he's given me 5 of his best minutes and completely finished me off. And then he turned around to the Foss and said, "Why don't you just do us all a favour and die?"
Oh, Chief. He wouldn't have meant that.
I will say this. The single funniest night I've ever had on air was with the Foss,
yes,
when you couldn't come in for that first hour and they called me in to do it with him. And we got sidetracked onto a discussion, the topic of which I won't reveal.
No, you won't reveal.
It was inappropriate.
Yeah.
But the two of us were literally crying with laughter.
Yes.
I had people telling me they nearly crashed their cars that were listening.
That's it.
And Foss and I just looked at each other and laughed for 5 minutes. It can't have been great radio, but my God, was it funny.
I think it was, Chief. It is great to have you here. Yes.
This is the first time I think he's been back into this particular box with rice.
Well,
Duck bought him some rice.
and handed it over with some trepidation.
And he saved a bit.
And I said to Duck, if it comes to Rice throwing, he won't throw it on you. It'll be Bernard that got it.
No, it will not. It will not.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Hey, we have already copped a cook from Chief, too,
Good.
for the read before, remember?
Yes, I know.
Off air, and he's just warming up.
Yeah.
Is he getting well, you see, there's truculence attached to the Chief. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Because he's got the Friday night crew covered. He looks at Duke and he goes, look, he was an All-Australian once. And then he looks at Nath Brown and he goes, hey, Nath Brown had a couple of good weeks.
Yeah, 15 good works so or 10, I think it was.
So he's got a level of comfort on a Friday night.
Yeah,
The Chief, he just sits there and goes, I've pretty much got this lot to cook. Then he comes in here today and he has a look at the King and he goes, all right,
Oh,
she's a slightly different setup.
Hey, we all bow to someone.
because you're big, the Chief's got no predator.
No
but you're
predator.
also equally big, the Duck's got no predator
No,
in media. So
there's-
what happens when two people with no predators are in the same confines?
We do a lot of feasting. On flogs like you.
And we're very hungry.
What's this we?
Well,
Well, Bernie,
Just me.
Bernie,
What about Bernie just elevating himself a
we're
bit?
very hungry.
Bernie, you're a hyena, mate. You get the scraps.
Listen, Bernie, you might want best and fairest of two clubs, but you're not in the same conversation as these two.
You might have-
Sorry.
Bernie's one of those vultures that waits for the carcass. It has a little nibble.
I don't need much. I don't need much.
Might leave the toenails off table.
Okay, Duck. Jeez. Come on. Very good.
But when the vulture comes back down, Chief, if the lion thinks there's a bit more on it, the vulture quickly buggers off again.
Chief sleeps in the carcass, so I get nothing. Oh, very good.
But are you aware, Bernard? This I think this underscores the arrogance of the Chief.
I like this.
He was offered a 10-year.
Who's got the rice?
10
I've got some spare rice for you,
years.
Chief.
He was offered,
Yeah, and what happened?
I think, at a brick a year. And back in those days, a mil was nearly your whole salary cap. And the Chief,
Was it a brick, Chief?
Chief's just looked at the Lions and gone, no.
Not going for that.
No interest.
Mind you, the deal that Alistair Lynch did take was half what was offered the Chief.
Well, Lynch is a magnificent player. He was never getting what the Chief had on the table.
It was half.
But
Oh, I
Chief-
thought it was the same, Chief.
No, it's half.
I thought he,
Very similar, I think.
but a little bit less. Very similar. He's got the thumbs down.
The go home factor for the Chief, though, to
Yeah.
go back to Queensland.
You were
It's
never going
important.
back to Queensland, Chief.
Well, but Jim, I was a year away from life membership at Hawthorn. I was building a house. There's so much going on, and I was in a top team. So why would you leave?
You could have won
I
10
don't-
flags.
I'm not a mercenary.
You could have won.
Chief, I'm with you. But I just know the dismissive way that you dealt with it at the time.
No,
Just give it
we had some serious meetings because they were very keen and they were very good people I was dealing with.
Chief, you were offered the very first long contract in our game and you just said no.
He's
There
staring
would
down
have
at
been
you.
plenty of long-term deals way back when, Jim. We know that.
So a full day with the Chief is something to celebrate. He's already looking at his
Hey, look at his watch.
Look at
Look at the body language on him.
He's got his arms folded.
He's angry.